Hello and welcome to WhatKeepsYouAwake.tv. It's time again to dive into the hustles, the hurdles, and the highs that keep small business leaders up at night. I'm your host, David Hooser, and I'm once again excited to welcome my wife, Trang Hooser. You have those kind of situations where you have to calm down the buyer or seller to get them through a particular moment?
Oh, yes, I do. I have, I have, and this is also a relationship. I have a client who I sold a home to. They moved to Vegas from California, right? And husband and wife, the husband was in the military. So, I help VA as well.
Okay.
And so they want to buy a house in Las Vegas. They call me off of internet. They did research, and I guess I just have that look. No, just kidding. And they said, we found you on the internet, and we would like for you to help us move to Las Vegas. You look like you're doing a lot of business in Las Vegas. And so I helped them sell their home in contingency of buying a home in Las Vegas. Okay. And that was a process.
So you helped find them a realtor to sell their home out of or LA or wherever they were at, California.
Yes. So Fresno, California, actually. Okay. And so I co-work with an agent that that I have had experience with, who are great. She was great in the real estate in California, and I can trust my client with her in the sense that she works similar to how I work.
Sure.
Very genuine. When she it's with the client and guide them, through the whole process, help with relieve the stress, events, and get them through their transition.
Okay.
And so they moved to Vegas, and out of the blue, she called me. She said, we're moving again 7 years later. Right. And it makes me so happy because, that says a lot. It says a lot.
7 years. That's a long time to keep your number in their, in their case, probably Rolodex in their.
Yes.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, like when she called, I picked up and she was like, like we never stopped talking.
Oh, that's cool.
So like we know each other that way. It's that trust level.
Sure.
Of someone that, can go to the length to help someone. And they trust that, they trust the process, now the person, right? And unfortunately, this time around, we have much more challenges than the first one. I didn't imagine this because the first one was, contingency on selling a home out of state to move to another state. That was not traditional, right? Of a transition or a transaction. But during the sale of her home here, her husband passed away, unfortunately. And they had, the relationship was on a rock. So they were on the verge of a divorce, which made me very sad because I know both and I love them both.
Right.
So that was a little emotional for me to learn and work, in a scenario where completely different than the first one,
So you had to get them together because you have to sell a home that you own together.
Yeah.
And yet they were maybe not liking the way, talking to each other.
They were not in talking terms.
You had the liaison between them. And then you had to deal with the situation where he passed away and then would be transferring his assets to her. Wow, what a complex situation.
Yeah, that was a curveball for sure. Did not foresee it was sudden death for the my male seller. So that put us into like a whiplash spin. And he was out of the state, so he passed away out of state. So we had to work with Kentucky.
I love that.
My husband's hometown, Kentucky County, to navigate, the process of processing paperwork, for where we can prove that he, has now deceased, so that we continue the transaction here in Las Vegas, and then, ensuring, the buyer that, this is going to be done. It's just a matter of, what we had to do to get it done.
Well, the seller probably got a little bit spooked at that point. Did it take longer to close the transaction?
It added another over a month to our transaction, which I'm thankful for the opposing agent, and the buyers, of understanding the situation the way I explained it, and provide, I always keep transparency. And then my business, that's very important.
Yeah.
To keep everybody have the right understanding of what's happening. And when you do that, it provides all parties, a clarity of where we're at, and they're okay with that.
Okay. So you deal with buyers that are coming to Vegas from other states, as well as buyers, I assume, and sellers in Vegas.
Yes.
And tell me, how is the market? We're talking to an audience, Arizona-based audience. So
Yes.
how's the market? When I go to leave Scottsdale and go to Las Vegas, kind of looks the same, except for that big thing called the Strip in the middle. How's the real estate markets compare? Is it cheaper to buy a home in Vegas than Scottsdale, for example?
So we're comparing.
In the next episode, we will be discussing the main differences you might notice between the highlights of Las Vegas and Scottsdale. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe for the next segment of this series.